Hello and welcome to Green Angle. I am Esther Mokwariola. In this week's edition of the program, we talk about a cheaper source of energy that is gradually replacing fossil-powered cars and how a green growth expert is providing innovative solutions to meet Africa's developmental challenges. Wildlife conservationists have condemned the brutal killing of a hippopotamus by a group of farmers in Kebbi State. The video, which surfaced online, showed the farmers butchering the animal after it had reported that it killed a guard at the orchard farm belonging to an emir in the state. Conservationists Chinedu Mogbo and Dr. Mark Ofwa described the situation as poor management of the wildlife ecosystem in the state.
When the reports may have come initially that this had happened, or even before it would have happened, there ought to have been warnings or cautions that are put out there, because people know that these habitats are inhabited by hippos. Now, hippos are one of the most territorial and most dangerous animals on earth and have been known to cause deaths severally. So a caution initially should have been placed to prevent people from hunting or fishing in these areas. Now, that would have prevented the clash initially. But even after the incident may have happened, it should have taken much, there could have been other safe methods without recurring or without causing the death of even the animal. The animal should have been moved out of that place to protected spaces or safe spaces, because the way they went out to hunt this animal, it could have resulted even in more deaths.
Hippos are known as the life force of our rivers, of the African rivers. And if we lose all our hippos, our rivers will become less and less of what they used to be. Our rivers hitherto have been the food basket of the nation, supplying us with protein, animal protein, fish, shrimps, crustacean crabs, and what have you. And this is happening because our rivers are well fertilized from the poop of the hippo. So if we lose our hippos, we're going to lose this source of natural fertilizers, and we are going to be the ones to suffer for it. The fisherman will make less and less catch. He's going to increase the price of his product. The cost of living is going to go up. We are the ones that would suffer for it. If we work together with nature, find a way to adapt nature to best serve us by conserving her and making sure that we mitigate human-wildlife conflict, you'll find out that we are the ones that would benefit for it.
FEMA Director Dean Creswell indicated the impact from Hurricane Milton could have been far worse, saying Florida dodged the worst-case scenario. According to him, the fact that they prepared for the worst really made sure that they were able to respond to the impact that they have experienced. Hurricane Milton made landfall near Sister Key, Florida, as a dangerous Category 3 storm and weakened to a Category 1 as it cut through the state and moved offshore, according to the National Hurricane Center.
Fuel prices have shot up lately, and it feels like one needs to budget carefully before hitting the road. But what if there is a cheaper, cleaner alternative? That is where compressed natural gas comes in. It's not just an alternative to fuel, but a game changer to Nigeria's energy crisis, while also helping to tackle climate change. Come with me as we explain this further.
The fresh subsidy is gone.
President Bola Tinubu's statement at his inaugural speech that subsidy is gone came with a lot of worry over the high cost of fuel. Following this, the Nigerian government launched the presidential CNG initiative aimed at promoting CNG adoption as an alternative fuel to reduce the country's dependence on conventional petrol products. Nigeria has one of the world's largest natural gas reserves, ranking among the top 10 globally. This wealth of natural gas has laid the foundation for the development of compressed natural gas as a viable alternative fuel in the country. With fuel scarcity becoming a recurring issue in Nigeria, motorists wait in long queues at petrol stations, often without any certainty of getting fuel. However, with alternatives like CNG, there may finally be some relief. CNG is natural gas compressed to less than 1% of its volume at standard atmospheric pressure. It is considered a cleaner alternative to gasoline or diesel, producing fewer harmful emissions. According to Central UP Gas Limited, an Indian company, CNG significantly reduces the emission of harmful gas like carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide, which are major contributors to climate change.
Africa as a continent, contributes less than 4% to the global emission. So initiatives like this should have been a plus, ideally. But like I did mention, a lot of questions need to be answered. So compressed natural gas is a fuel gas that is mainly composed of methane, compressed of less than 1% of its volume. And this is supposed to, answer the question of the level of carbon that is contributory to, to global gas emission that is responsible, for the greenhouse gases that we suffer. So CNG fuel systems are sealed, they are prevented, from losing fuels, no spillage, no evaporation and all that. They also increase, lubrication or lubricant extent of, oil. And then of course, CNG does not contaminate or dilute, the crackers oil. And there being a gaseous fuel, CNG misses easily and even in here. So the question of pollution doesn't come in here.
At this gas station, vehicles are lining up to refuel with CNG. The gas is stored in high compressed cylinder, specially designed to handle its compressed form. These cylinders are typically installed in the car boots and can be refilled either through the bonnet, which directs the gas to the cylinder, or directly into the cylinder itself. The size of the cylinder varies depending on the size and model of the vehicles. Abdul Wahab Ibrahim converted his vehicle to run on CNG 6 months ago. He tells us about his experience, explaining how the system works.
Alright, this is where the indicator that shows your gas gauge is. It has the R, this for reserve, that R is for reserve, then G is for gas. Then this fuel stuff diagram is like you're on fuel. So immediately you start it goes to fuel, then now switch to gas. So this 3 bar 1 2 3 4 shows the level, the content of the gas in your cylinder. So you're like 4 bars, so I have like 4 bar right now. So as you exhaust the gas, that's when everything will be reducing. The dots will be reducing by 1 dot down to the last dot.
Similarly, Isa Ahmed, a truck driver whose vehicle runs exclusively on CNG, also shared his experiences.
I have been driving this CNG trailer for about 8 months now. The trailer is made to use CNG right from factory settings. The difference is much compared to diesel. I get CNG for 290 naira per litre, while diesel costs about 1,000 naira per litre.
TVC News crew took a day out to visit a CNG conversion center along Kubwa Expressway. We spoke with the manager of the center, who is also the lead engineer. He explained the process of converting vehicles to CNG and discussed how far a converted vehicle can travel on a full tank.
First thing is that we will inspect the car. The essence of that inspection is whether the car can take the combustion or not. We are not removing anything from the car. The only thing we used to touch is the manifold. Yes, the car manifold. That's the only thing we used to drill so that the gas can flow there perfectly. The next thing, the cylinder will fabricate the cylinder where the tank can stay. To convert a car normally is 1 day. But
he also dispelled common misconceptions about the dangers of having a CNG cylinder installed in a boot of a car.
That many people, they are afraid of bringing their cars to put CNG, because the most thing that they are afraid of is that fire. Is that a problem? Maybe when they got accident or something like. No, it had zero risks of that fire, because the main thing that we used to give customers assurance of that safety is even if you carry the letter and on that gas on it will never catch fire.
Regarding the cost of conversion, he explained that it depends on the type and size of vehicle.
We are importing the cylinder from outside, yes. So the cost anytime it can change due to the terms of the dollar price that we are using. You know, we are using dollar to import the kit and the cylinder. So for now, the price, you know, if what the price that you hear from this center is different from another center. So that's the price, because now our price for V4 now is 1,159,200. That's for V4. While for V6 1.2 till to 8 block, to even 12 block massive.
Zion Ugu, another CNG user, talks about the challenges and benefits of using CNG.
I drove from town to this, you know how this kilometer, how this airport, almost this airport road to get CNG. If we have stations, refilling stations that can fill this CNG for us, like they can refill this CNG when we run short of things, it will be helpful for us.
It's cheap, and if you look at the emission, is good to the society, to the atmosphere and environment. So it's better off to use gas. The price is cheap, and at the same time it saves your car.
It is okay for us to make this switch, but we need time to do that, and government policies must be so supportive to the people who are evidently going to make the switch.
Green Angle returns in just a moment. Stay with us. We all know concrete is the standard for building houses, right? But what if I told you could build a house using plastic bottles? And here's the surprising part. It's not just eco-friendly, but strong enough to withstand earthquakes and even prevent collapses. In this next segment, we'll meet Adeleke Adedoyin, an environmental sustainability advocate and the founder of Green Growth Africa. He's on a mission to bring innovative solutions to tackle Africa's developmental challenges.
Now, Green Initiative is all about environment. But like I say, for us at Green Growth Africa, Africa still needs to develop social and economically. So we cannot just focus on environment. I keep telling people, if you go to the president of Nigeria today and say, oh, please put some, maybe $1 billion on environmental issue, the guy will most likely send you back because he has unemployment to solve, health issues to solve, education issues to solve. So if you go purely green, it's not speaking to the African development priorities. So what we do is to fuse together, develop solutions, environment solutions that also add social and economic value. That's what we call green growth, basically. And we've done that in about, actually 22 African countries. We have mentoring for research program where we find new courses, new disciplines coming up like climate science, climate engineering, green finance, and all of that. Where do you find that in Nigeria? You know, our universities are not developing curriculum in tandem with the problem of the 21st century, for which we want to raise the 21st century workforce. So, because of this gap, and Africa is suffering a lot because of this environmental issue. So we're suffering on one hand, we lack capacity on the other hand. So we are now bridging the gap by looking for students who are doing research in African universities on any field, health, medicine, whatever you, that they have environment integrated into it, and it becomes a green growth research, whatever you're doing. And then we look for mentors, people, some of them in the World Bank, Harvard University, Oxford, and the likes, to now support them remotely with their supervisors. So they form a research report. And we've supported about 178 students in 55 universities across 27 African countries. So what we did was say, how can we construct a building that's very, very low carbon footprint? You don't know when you buy cement how much carbon footprint you are contributing. I mean, cement is the most carbon-intensive component of construction industry, and it accounts for about 8% of global carbon emissions globally. So I wanted to see how we can work in a way that do a building where we reduce the volume of cement that is used, and then we went for plastic. And not just reducing cement on one hand, we're also taking up a lot of plastic from the environment, which often end in the sea and then have a lot of ecological problems. So we started, and then trying to collect bottles. We gathered about 100,000 bottles, and then we did our technical selection. And at the end of the day, we used 27,333 plastic bottles to construct sort of a 5-bedroom apartment with a lot of conveniences as well. And that became our building. And we realized that it's not just that we are helping the environment, we also build something stronger than the concrete building. By science, which is done, research done in India, in America, confirms that buildings made with plastic bottles are stronger, oftentimes 3. They are bulletproof. I mean, stronger than concrete ones. And then they are bulletproof, they are fireproof, and they are earthquake-proof. Ideally, what you spend constructing a plastic building is supposed to be 50% of what you should spend constructing a the normal block building. But that is a system where, you know, when you want to buy your block, you just go to Bramutiu there, Assefu there, and then they bring block, and then you are fine, right? So for us to get, I said we gathered about 100,000 bottles. So we have to go buy the plus, because we can't gather that ourselves, and then we try to go and buy from places where they use them, where they dump them as refuse. We don't mind buying, apart from the cost of procurement of those bottles, to carry, to convey 1,000 bottles from somewhere in Ventura in Ibadan, which is not so far, to where we are putting them, not so far. We spend 8,000 naira. So that puts us at 8 naira to transfer each bottle. So please multiply that by 100,000. So cost of transport alone will be 800,000 naira. So we now calculate, if we buy the plastic bottles in Lagos, where we have bulk, we can buy almost everything at once, and we use truck to pick them, we'll spend less than half of that. So we stopped picking bottles here and there in Ibadan. We went to come and buy, and I think we spent less than 300,000 naira for transport, and we had all our bottles. Now, what is the issue there? If I'm doing block stuff, I won't pay all that. One. So the issue is about the value chain of plastic collection. Oh, plastic, in the world produces about 150 million metric tons of plastic waste, and only Nigeria contributes to about 4 million of that. They are scattered all over. That can build cities. But where are they? Scattered there, scattered there. So because there is no value chain, the value chain is weak, not that there's no value chain. Value chain of collection is very weak. It may also spend more. Also, in the whole of this country, I doubt it, there are 20 people who can serve as masons to construct such buildings. We found some in the north, and to bring them, we had no competitive advantage. I paid them what I cannot pay a professor, most likely. It was really very expensive. Before, they were good, but they are businessmen. You understand, even though they may not be educated as much, but they know that they are few. So there was no negotiating power. So for them to move, we had to pay a special transport fee beyond normal transport. We had to rent accommodation for them. We had to get things set for them and things like that. But whereas if you are building with normal building, you call one my uncle there, one brother there, the players are already here. So the issue that what makes plastic more expensive at the moment to build is the value chain. The building became the method because the knowledge we're gaining, the lessons we're learning from that construction were, for me, bigger than even the value of the building to me. So the building became a method, and then these lessons we're learning, which is now informing our next phase of action, became the product for us. So, and then we also decided to power it fully by solar energy. It's powered by 8.8 kilowatt of solar system. I mean, that can take care of almost close to a community.
And that's where we end this week's edition of Green Angle. If you have comments or questions you'd like to share with us, you can send us a message on our Facebook, Instagram, or X handles at TVC News NG or Hippopotamus TVC. Until next one, remember, together we can build a sustainable world. I am Esther Mapariola. Bye for now.